Introduction: Why Saving Six touches hearts every once in a while. A story comes along that feels less like a book and more like an emotional experience, something that lingers in your heart long after the final page is turned. Saving Six by Chloe Walsh is one of those rare stories. It is not simply a romance, not just a coming-of-age tale, but rather a raw and deeply human journey about pain, survival, love, and redemption. What makes Saving Six so powerful is its honesty. Chloe Walsh does not shy away from the darker sides of life, trauma, abuse, addiction, mental health struggles, and the scars of a broken family. Instead, she places them at the center of the narrative, crafting characters who are flawed, vulnerable, and heartbreakingly real. Readers find themselves not just observing Shannon and Johnny's lives, but feeling every ache, every hope, and every fragile step toward healing. The novel resonates because it mirrors truths that many people are afraid to confront. We live in a world where silent battles are fought every day, where young people carry burdens too heavy for their years, where love becomes both a refuge and a test, and where healing is not a straight path, but a messy, painful process. Saving Six gives voice to these struggles, reminding us that even in the darkest moments, love and resilience can light a way forward. At its core, this story touches hearts because it feels deeply personal. Shannon's quiet strength and Johnny's wounded soul reflect universal struggles we can all recognize: the longing to be loved, the fight to overcome what tries to break us, and the hope of finding someone who sees us completely and refuses to let go. This is not just a book. It is a reminder that behind every smile there may be a hidden battle, and behind every broken heart lies the possibility of being saved. And that is why Saving Six stays with its readers. It is a story that bleeds truth, and in that truth, it gives us hope. Background: About Chloe Walsh and the Boys of Tommen series. To understand the depth and beauty of Saving Six, it helps to know a little about the writer who created it and the larger world it belongs to. Chloe Walsh, the author behind this unforgettable story, is an Irish writer whose works have gained massive popularity for their emotional honesty and raw portrayal of young adult and new adult life. She is best known for her Boys of Tommen series, a collection of novels that follow the lives, loves, and struggles of teenagers growing up in Cork, Ireland. Chloe's writing has always stood out for its authenticity. She doesn't sugarcoat the challenges her characters face. Instead, she weaves stories that combine romance, heartbreak, friendship, family, and the messy realities of life in a way that feels genuine. Her characters are far from perfect. They make mistakes, they fall, they struggle, but that is precisely what makes them so relatable. Readers don't just see fictional figures on a page. They see themselves, their friends, and the people they have known in real life. The Boys of Tommen series begins with Binding 13, which tells the story of Johnny Kavanagh and Shannon Lynch, two teenagers whose paths cross in ways that will forever change their lives. The series then continues with Keeping 13, Saving Six, and Redeeming Six. Each book builds on the last, digging deeper into the characters' personal battles while exploring the bonds of love, loyalty, and survival. What makes this series unique is how interconnected the characters are. Each story is not only about romance, but also about the bigger picture. Growing up in a world that is sometimes harsh, sometimes beautiful, and always unpredictable, the school setting at Tommen College provides a backdrop for friendships, rivalries, heartbreaks, and triumphs, creating a world that readers quickly become invested in. Saving Six, the third installment, shifts focus to Johnny's perspective, giving us an intimate look into his pain, his struggles, and his desperate need to overcome the demons of his past. For many readers, this book is the most emotionally intense of the series because it doesn't just tell a love story. It lays bare the cost of survival. Chloe Walsh's ability to balance romance with real-life issues is one of the reasons the Boys of Tommen series has touched so many people. It's more than just a set of novels. It's a universe of characters who feel like family, whose stories remind us of the challenges of adolescence, the scars that shape us, and the healing power of love. Character Spotlight: Shannon, her struggles and strength. Shannon Lynch is one of the most unforgettable characters in the Boys of Tommen series, and in Saving Six her presence is both a source of comfort and inspiration. From the very beginning, Shannon's story is marked by hardship. She grows up in an environment that is far from nurturing, carrying the weight of neglect, emotional pain, and responsibilities far beyond her years. Her childhood is not one of safety or innocence, but one where she must constantly find ways to endure and survive. What makes Shannon such a powerful character is not just the suffering she endures, but the quiet resilience she shows despite it. She is not loud, not flashy, and not someone who demands attention. Yet her strength lies in her ability to keep moving forward even when life seems unbearable. Many readers see themselves reflected in Shannon because she embodies the strength that comes from surviving difficult circumstances, strength that is not always visible but is deeply real at school. Shannon often struggles with her own insecurities, the weight of her family situation, and the feeling of being invisible in a world that rarely shows her kindness. Yet, beneath that quiet exterior lies a girl who is fiercely loyal, deeply compassionate, and capable of extraordinary courage. When she connects with Johnny Kavanagh, their bond is built not on superficial attraction but on something much deeper. An unspoken understanding of pain. Shannon's strength is not about pretending she is unaffected. It is about her ability to face her reality and still hold on to the possibility of love, trust, and hope. She becomes a grounding force in Johnny's life, not because she saves him in the traditional sense, but because she offers him something he has never had before: acceptance. Without judgment, her struggles remind us of the silent battles many people fight, the kind that are not always visible to the world. Her resilience shows that survival itself is a form of bravery, and her capacity for love, even after everything she has endured, is what makes her truly extraordinary. In Shannon, Chloe Walsh has created a character who represents the quiet heroes of real life, the ones who are rarely celebrated, yet whose strength lies in their ability to endure, to care, and to keep believing in better days. She is proof that even the most fragile-seeming individuals can possess a strength far greater than anyone imagines. Character Spotlight: Johnny Kavanagh. His pain and healing journey. Johnny Kavanagh is one of the most complex and deeply moving characters in the Boys of Tommen series. In Saving Six, the story shifts to his perspective, and readers are given a raw, unfiltered look into his world. What makes Johnny unforgettable is not just his role as the popular rugby star at Tommen College, but the painful truth that lies beneath that surface. A truth that is heavy, heartbreaking, and incredibly human. From the outside, Johnny appears to be everything a teenager could want to be: talented, admired, and seemingly untouchable. But behind that image lies a young man carrying the crushing weight of abuse, addiction, and family trauma. His home life is far from safe or loving. It is a battlefield of chaos and fear, where he is forced to grow up far too quickly. That environment leaves scars that are not just physical but deeply emotional, shaping him into someone who constantly feels the need to protect others while silently falling apart himself. Johnny's pain is layered. He struggles not only with the abuse he endures, but also with the pressure of expectations. Expectations to perform, to succeed, and to appear strong when in reality he is breaking. His use of alcohol and other destructive behaviors becomes a desperate attempt to numb himself, to escape the weight of his life, even if only for a moment. This makes his journey both heartbreaking and painfully relatable to anyone who has ever tried to hide their struggles behind a mask of strength. And yet, Johnny is not defined only by his suffering. What makes his story so compelling is his fight to heal, even when healing seems impossible. His connection with Shannon Lynch becomes the turning point in his life. With her, Johnny finds something he has never truly known before: safety, understanding, and unconditional acceptance. Shannon does not judge his brokenness. Instead, she stands beside him as he faces it. Their bond is not a quick fix, but a slow, fragile process of trust and healing. One that shows the power of love to mend even the deepest wounds. Johnny's journey is not a simple one, and Chloe Walsh does not portray it as neatly resolved. His pain does not vanish overnight, and his healing is filled with setbacks and struggles. But it is precisely this honesty that makes his character so powerful. Johnny represents the reality that recovery is not about perfection. It is about the courage to keep going, to keep fighting, and to allow others to stand by you when you cannot stand alone. In Johnny Kavanagh, we see a young man who has been broken by circumstances beyond his control, but who refuses to let that brokenness define him. His story is a reminder that even in the darkest lives, there is a chance for light, and that sometimes healing begins not with saving yourself alone, but with allowing someone else to hold on to you when you cannot hold on to yourself. Their love story, why it's so powerful and heartbreaking. The relationship between Johnny Kavanagh and Shannon Lynch is the beating heart of Saving Six. It is not a simple love story built on fairy tale ideals, but a raw and unfiltered portrayal of two young people who find solace in one another while carrying unimaginable burdens. What makes their love so powerful is precisely what makes it so heartbreaking. It is born from pain, tested by trauma, and held together by the fragile hope that they can be each other's safe place in a world that often feels unsafe. From the beginning, their connection is different. Johnny and Shannon are drawn together not by superficial attraction, but by a recognition of shared suffering. Shannon, with her quiet strength, sees past Johnny's image as the popular rugby star. She sees the boy behind the mask, the one who is drowning in silence, the one no one else truly notices. Johnny, in turn, finds in Shannon the one person who does not demand perfection from him, the one who accepts his flaws, his wounds, and his vulnerabilities without judgment. This kind of acceptance is rare, and it becomes the foundation of their love. What makes their relationship so powerful is its depth. They are not saving each other in the sense of magically fixing one another's problems. Instead, their love provides a lifeline, a reason to keep fighting, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, they are not alone. Shannon's presence gives Johnny the courage to face his demons, while Johnny's affection gives Shannon the affirmation that she is worthy of love despite the neglect and pain she has endured. Together, they create a fragile but beautiful space where healing can begin. Yet, their love is also heartbreaking because it exists under the weight of circumstances that neither of them can fully escape. Johnny's home life, his battles with addiction, and the traumas of his past constantly threaten to pull him under. Shannon, though strong, carries her own scars, and her love for Johnny often places her in the difficult position of trying to hold together someone who is unraveling. Their story is filled with moments of tenderness and hope, but also with pain and setbacks that remind us how complicated love can be when it is entangled with survival. Chloe Walsh does not romanticize their struggles. Instead, she shows us the reality of what it means to love someone who is broken and to try to love while being broken yourself. This honesty is what makes their relationship unforgettable. Their love is not easy, but it is real. It is the kind of love that teaches us about loyalty, sacrifice, and the courage it takes to stand beside someone even when the world seems determined to tear them apart. In the end, the power of Johnny and Shannon's love lies in its ability to endure. It does not promise perfection or a quick escape from pain, but it offers hope. It shows that even in the most difficult circumstances, love can be a reason to keep going, a reminder that we are never truly beyond saving. And it is this balance of hope and heartbreak that makes their story resonate so deeply with readers, leaving an imprint long after the book is closed. Key themes: trauma, healing, family, friendship, love at its core. Saving Six is not just a romance novel. It is a story layered with themes that cut to the heart of human experience. Chloe Walsh weaves together issues that are painful, real, and often unspoken, showing how they shape the lives of her characters. The themes of trauma, healing, family, friendship, and love are not presented in isolation. They are interwoven in ways that reflect the messy and complicated reality of life. Trauma is one of the most dominant threads running through the story. Both Johnny and Shannon carry deep scars from their pasts, Johnny from the abuse and chaos within his home, Shannon from neglect and emotional wounds that shaped her childhood. Trauma in this novel is not portrayed as something distant or abstract. It is raw, immediate, and deeply personal. Chloe Walsh shows how trauma seeps into every aspect of life: relationships, self-worth, and even the ability to hope for a better future. By bringing these struggles to the forefront, the story acknowledges the silent battles so many people face: Healing is the counterpoint to trauma, but it is not shown as a smooth or simple journey. Healing, in Saving Six, is messy, filled with setbacks, and often painful. Johnny's struggle with addiction, his attempts to push people away, and his slow process of learning to trust again all reveal that recovery is rarely linear. Shannon, too, in her own quiet way, shows that healing often means learning to believe in yourself after years of being made to feel invisible. The novel teaches us that healing is not about being fixed. It is about finding the courage to keep moving forward and allowing others to walk beside you when you can't do it alone. Family is another powerful theme, but it is presented in starkly different forms. Johnny's family life is filled with dysfunction, fear, and pain, reminding readers that family is not always a place of safety. Yet, at the same time, the novel explores chosen families, the bonds we build with friends, mentors, and loved ones who step in where blood relatives may fail. Shannon and Johnny both show how family can be both a source of deep wounds and, in other cases, a source of healing and belonging. Friendship plays a vital role in the story as well. The Boys of Tom series thrives on the strong, complicated, and loyal friendships between characters. Friends become lifelines, offering support, laughter, and stability in a world that often feels overwhelming. For both Johnny and Shannon, friendships provide reminders that even when family fails, there are people who will stand beside you, fight for you, and remind you that you are not alone. Finally, at the heart of everything, there is love. The love story between Johnny and Shannon is central, but the theme of love extends beyond romance. Love in this novel is about compassion, acceptance, and resilience. It is about finding light in the darkest of circumstances and about the strength it takes to love someone who is still learning how to love themselves. Chloe Walsh shows that love is not a cure-all, but it can be a powerful force for survival and change. Together, these themes create a story that feels both deeply personal and universally relatable. They remind us that life is often painful, but within that pain lies the possibility of connection, growth, and hope. Saving Six is more than a novel. It is a reflection of the struggles we face, the people who help us through them, and the love that makes it all worthwhile. Emotional highlights. The most unforgettable moments. Every great story is built on moments that stay with the reader long after the book is finished, and Saving Six is filled with scenes that are as haunting as they are beautiful. Chloe Walsh does not rely on dramatic twists alone. Instead, she crafts emotional turning points that pierce the heart, reminding us of the raw humanity behind her characters. These unforgettable moments are what elevate the novel from a love story to an experience that readers carry with them. One of the most striking elements of the book is the way Johnny's pain is laid bare. Readers witness his downward spirals, moments where the weight of abuse, addiction, and despair feel unbearable. These scenes are difficult to read, but they are also powerful because they show the brutal reality of what it means to be trapped in cycles of trauma. The honesty of these moments resonates with anyone who has struggled with inner demons or watched someone they love suffer. Balanced against the darkness are the tender interactions between Johnny and Shannon. Their quiet conversations, the stolen moments of peace they find together, and the way they simply see each other become some of the most moving parts of the novel. These small, intimate exchanges carry a weight far greater than grand declarations of love, because they show how two broken people can create a fragile space of safety with one another. For many readers, these are the scenes that pulse with the greatest emotional intensity. Another unforgettable highlight is the way Shannon emerges as a source of light in Johnny's world. There are moments where her presence alone steadies him, where her belief in him becomes a lifeline. Yet, the story also makes it clear that Shannon is not untouched by pain herself. Her own vulnerability, shown in scenes where her insecurities and fears are revealed, makes her strength even more remarkable. The interplay of her struggles and her resilience deepens the emotional impact of their relationship. Some of the most heartbreaking moments come when Johnny's world threatens to collapse entirely, when his family life, his addiction, and his self-doubt push him to the edge. These scenes linger because they feel so painfully real. Readers are reminded that healing is never easy and that sometimes love alone cannot erase years of suffering. And yet, These low points are what make the moments of hope shine even brighter. Perhaps the most unforgettable aspect of Saving Six is not a single scene, but the emotional journey as a whole, the rise and fall of despair and hope, pain and healing, love and loss. The novel delivers not just individual highlights, but an atmosphere of emotion that builds steadily until it becomes impossible to separate yourself from the characters' experiences. In the end, what makes these emotional highlights so powerful is their honesty. They are not written to offer simple solutions or easy escapes. Instead, they reflect the truth of what it means to live with trauma, to fight for healing, and to love despite the risk of heartbreak. These moments leave a lasting impression because they remind us of our own struggles, our own hopes, and the people who have touched our lives in the same way Johnny and Shannon touch each other. Life lessons from Saving Six. What listeners can take away: stories like Saving Six stay with us not only because of the characters and their journeys, but because of the lessons they quietly teach along the way. Beneath the heartbreak, the romance, and the raw honesty of the narrative, Chloe Walsh offers truths about life, love, and survival that resonate far beyond the pages of the novel. These lessons are what make the book more than entertainment. They make it an experience of reflection and growth for the reader or listener. One of the most powerful lessons is that trauma does not define a person. Johnny's life is scarred by abuse, addiction, and despair, but the story shows that while trauma shapes us, it does not have to be the end of us. Even in his darkest moments, Johnny is more than the pain he carries. He is also a boy capable of love, loyalty, and courage. This reminds us that no matter how heavy our past, it does not erase our worth. Another lesson lies in the idea that healing is not linear. Recovery, whether from emotional wounds or destructive habits, is rarely a straight path. Johnny's journey is filled with setbacks, failures, and painful relapses. Yet, each time he falls, the story emphasizes the importance of trying again. For listeners, this lesson offers comfort. Stumbling does not mean failing. It means being human. Healing is a process, not a destination. The novel also highlights the importance of compassion and understanding. Shannon's unwavering acceptance of Johnny, despite his flaws, becomes a lifeline for him. Her patience shows that sometimes the greatest gift we can give another person is not a solution to their problems, but simply the willingness to stand beside them in their struggle. This teaches us the power of empathy, reminding us that kindness can change the course of someone's life. Equally significant is the lesson about the impact of family and chosen family. While Johnny's biological family causes him pain, his friendships and his bond with Shannon create a different kind of family, one built not on blood, but on trust and care. This speaks to the truth that family is not always about where we come from, but about who stands with us in our hardest moments. It encourages listeners to cherish the people who choose to stay, even when life gets messy. Finally, Saving Six reinforces the idea that love is both fragile and resilient. Love does not erase pain, nor does it guarantee an easy future, but it can provide hope, strength, and the will to keep moving forward. The relationship between Johnny and Shannon demonstrates that love is not about perfection. It is about acceptance, loyalty, and the courage to see someone at their worst and still believe in their worth. In the end, the greatest lesson of saving May 6th be this: even when life feels unbearable, there is always the possibility of light. Pain may shape us, but it does not have to break us. And sometimes, the simple act of being seen, understood, and loved can be the beginning of a new path forward. Conclusion: why this story stays with readers forever. Some books are enjoyed, some are admired, but a rare few become unforgettable. Saving Six belongs to that rare category. The reason it stays with readers long after the final page is turned is not simply because of its romance or its drama, but because it dares to tell the truth about pain, survival, and the fragile hope that love can bring. At its heart, Saving Six is a story about two people who refuse to give up on each other, even when the world seems determined to tear them apart. Johnny Kavanaugh and Shannon Lynch are not perfect heroes. They are flawed, scarred, and deeply human. Their struggles feel real because they mirror struggles many people face in silence: abuse, neglect, addiction, self-doubt, and the longing to be accepted. Readers are drawn to their story not because it is easy, but because it is honest. The novel lingers in memory because it captures both the darkness and the light of life. Chloe Walsh does not shield us from the pain of trauma or the harsh reality of broken families, but she also reminds us that within even the bleakest lives, there are moments of tenderness and love strong enough to spark healing. It is this balance, the ability to face the truth while still offering hope, that makes the story so powerful. For many, Saving Six feels personal. It is not just about Johnny and Shannon. It is about the universal human need for connection, understanding, and love. It reminds us that even when we feel broken, we are not beyond saving. It reassures us that the people who choose to see us at our lowest are often the ones who give us the strength to rise again. This story stays with readers because it does what the best literature always does. It makes us feel. It stirs empathy, compassion, and reflection. It teaches us to look closer at the people around us, to remember that everyone carries battles we may not see, and to understand that even in the deepest pain, there is always the possibility of healing. Saving Six endures because it is more than a love story. It is a testament to survival, to resilience, and to the transformative power of being truly seen. And once you have walked alongside Johnny and Shannon through their heartbreak and their hope, you cannot leave unchanged. Their story becomes a part of you, a reminder of the strength it takes to endure and the beauty that comes from finding love, even in the darkest places.